100-degree weather. Kevin Kernan on the Rob Dibble Show from ball9.com. Check out his amazing stuff that he has online. And he's up the East Coast watching his granddaughter in Little League play. How's that going, KK?
Kid's going great. One more win for the district. And,
there you go.
Yeah, she's the leadoff hitter, shortstop. Got great. Actually, I posted a video of her the other day, and some scouts I know sent me some notes saying she finishes her swing with her head down, just like he should. Line drives to center field. You know how it goes.
Oh, Louis Rise. She's got Louis Rise. Here's the thing. Does she pay attention, KK, to how many outs there are, what the score is? I mean, if she could get that down, she's ahead of some of these big leaguers.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be on your show today because I was doing some research on that today, and I was doing some other research that's going to fit later. It's freaking ridiculous. That's all I can say. My old high school coach used to make us carry 3 pebbles in the pocket if we screwed it up. One pebble to the next. PCA. I know that's Ben's guy and all this stuff.
Pete Crow Armstrong. Yeah, my guy.
Yeah, I think with those 3 guys doing what they did yesterday, and I'm sure you talked about it earlier, O'Neill Cruz, not knowing the outs, and Ellie Dela Cruz, who I have a little more leniency for because he's just a high energy guy, but he forgot he jogged into second base. It's all too cool for school guys, I mean, you got to start, and veterans got to get in your face. I mean, I'm not trying to start commentator war here, but I happen to be listening to MLB Network this morning radio, and the first thing is Xavier Scruggs says, well, it's the dog days, and these guys are human too. And I wait till you see my column tomorrow. That's all I can say. God. I'm on fire tomorrow.
No, let me stop you, though. I said this yesterday or the day before. I said, in my day, a guy like Aaron Judge, your captain, and Eric Davis was our captain, would have stuffed me in a locker. Okay? And you wouldn't have said a word. Aaron Judge or Stanton have to start shoving Jazz Chisholm and all these other knuckleheads. They should have done it with Verdugo into a locker. And I'm saying it figuratively, not literally. And just wake these guys the hell up.
Well, but I'm with Kernan on
this. They're not like us. But what I'm saying is you got to call the guy out every now and then. Like even Jazz Chisholm. Okay, enough. You've bitched and moaned enough. You're embarrassing the uniform now. Stop. And it just carried over onto the field. So it's not just the not knowing the outs. It's just how these people carry themselves, which is it's because nobody polices it.
And even Jazz said, well, Cap came over and talked to me and said, forget it, let it go on. It's got to be more than that. And I love Judgy and stuff like that, but you're right. They got to do that. And also, you know what? These guys are dumb. I'm going to call them out. They're dumb. Because here's what's going on. He said the magic word to an umpire, and it's not F you. That's not the magic. All you got to do to say to an umpire, and you've been around long enough to know, when you personalize it and make it you.
Yep, you.
You. That's the word. Y-O-U. You say you to an umpire, you're gone. And he it's the ultimate inmates on the asylum, but there's also a lot of little things, too, here involved here. How about the line drive the play he missed, too? You know what? I'm not even blaming Jazz for that. That's these nerds who think anybody can play anywhere. Same thing happened to the Mets on Batty. They're making him a third baseman. They put these guys all out of place. They don't let them pitch long enough, and then they wonder why they're gassed. Meanwhile, my granddaughter and her pitcher pitched the whole game, and it was hotter in New Jersey, so I don't want to hear this. Nobody's calling them out. That was my soft sell column the other day, and that's got a lot of big play because I'm done with it. I'm done with them all, and I'm done with MLB making excuses for everybody. Yep. And you were there, so that's why I always love being on your show because it's true. It's true what these guys need to be done. And how about Pete Crow Armstrong? I get it. You make the catch. Why do you got to bounce off the wall like I just made the greatest catch ever? Willie Mays caught that ball and turned around and threw the ball in the infield and made the play. Clemente, through the years, I watched him play, getting the ball in. You know what it is? Here's the word, and I've said this to my granddaughter's team. You know what's missing in baseball? It's the A word, anticipation. Nobody anticipates anything anymore because I saw Romy Gonzalez miss a line drive right at him the other day, cost the Red Sox a game. And what does he do? Immediately after missing the line drive, right at him. It wasn't a knuckleball. It was an easy line drive. He pulls a card out of his pocket. There's no accountability. No accountability to be in a position where you should know the play. You don't have to have some nerd who never played the game to tell you where to play. And it goes right down the line. Right down the line. And also, I got to get it off my chest, too, with the Rodon. He's gassed. Come on, stop it. You know, that made me look into something. Clark Schmidt, when they pulled out Clark Schmidt the other day, pissed me off, too, I got to tell you, because he's got a no-hitter. They're stealing memories. They're stealing memories from the fans and from players. Yeah, he's at 102 pitches, but you never know. And I happened to look this up, guys. June 16th, 1970, 33-year-old Tom Seaver pitches a no-hitter. And you know what he said at the end of that, after the game when he pitched a no-hitter? He said, you know what? In the seventh inning, you know, I got new energy because the crowd lifted me up, and we moved on. He only struck out 3. He pitched the contact. A former Major League player just sent me a note about Maddox saying, you know, one of his 78 pitch complete games. You know what it's called today, 78 pitches? 4 innings. That's what it is. Yeah. They've ruined the game every way, so... I'm sorry to go so long on that answer, but
that's why we have you on.
Kevin Kernan, ball9.com. I've yet to read Soft Sell. I did get in Accountability 101. I literally put in dummies, and I was going to ask you that, but you just already answered that question. One thing on Major League Baseball TV Network that we do like, or at least I do, is their segment called Teaching Moments. Billy Ripken was on yesterday with Teaching Moments. And it feels like that segment is becoming more popular because they have content every single day. Is it new coaches? Is it the salary? What is it that is keeping the accountability out of the clubhouse?
Well, it's a couple things. Everybody's afraid of their job for the most part, and they won't do their job because they want to keep their job. So it's the nerds on top. They think they know everything. They don't want to hear any divisive voices. And then the coaches. Don Kelly did bench Cruz, which should have been done like 2 years ago. But, so it's the combination of the guys in charge wanting to keep their jobs and don't want to rock the boat. And they're also not allowed to. I can't believe that Aaron Boone, he was a Red. He knows all this stuff. He knows baseball. Why does he let this stuff continue? So I think they've all been emasculated. The word today is emasculation. They've all been emasculated, and they don't have the guts. They don't have the guts to stand up for what they think is right. It's really that simple.
I don't know where to take it after that because I just said this to my 16U team, and then now they're starting to actually fight. Because I don't know at my age if I'm allowed to talk to young men and try to challenge them. And that's the thing here. I think Aaron Boone or Cora, this is why I think Cora got thrown out of these games. I think he's afraid to go crazy in the clubhouse. Like we used to laugh, Norm and I, KK, we would count how many times Lou said the F word in a rant. And we got to like 50 something one day and we just said, I lost count, and we just started laughing. And then Lou yelled at us. The F are you looking at? And what are you laughing at? I mean, he just, but that's Lou, because the point was, you guys are better than this. And I truly believe some of these
trying to make them better.
Yes, I'm trying to make them better. I think our coaches want them to be better, but it's even like, so Alvarez just got sent down. You just sent down Christian Campbell from the Reds. Yep. If you had taught them better on the way up, you wouldn't have to send them down. Is where we're at. So, like, we even brought up this Chase Burns last night. Okay, he could throw 100. He's got a great breaking ball from hell, all of that stuff. But you don't need to throw him out there to the Yankees. The second time through, he looked like a double-A pitcher. He did. So everybody's talking about, well, yeah, he struck out the side. Yeah, that's one inning. You got to go 6 or 7 innings most games, and maybe even 9 for a win sometimes. But yeah, you got to go through the order 3 times. They're not teaching baseball to these guys. They're trying to get you ready to accept the promotion to the major leagues without earning it.
And you got to video that promotion, because then it goes on your social media.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Well, they don't have development guys anymore. All those development guys have been thrown out.
Yep.
They're gone, long gone. Your first base coach, you know what I call him? I call him the receptacle coach, because they just grabbed equipment and put it in their pockets and stuff like that. They're not coaches. And how do you not tell Ellie De La Cruz, by the way, you can go to third on a base hit to left center, Yeah, and because they pander and they just don't want to be. Another thing, this may get me in trouble, but here we go. They're not men. We need to bring men back to baseball in a men mentality. They don't. It's not. Everything is not. Everything is all about man bun. It's a man bun baseball is what I call it now because they don't allow men to be men.
Well done. Yep. By the way, Syndergaard's coming back, so you'll get another man bun back.
Specifics on this baseball.
Well, that's when he started to go south when he went man bun. Man.
Yeah, you might be onto something there.
Yeah. I say, come on, man. You're a big, strong, hulking, like Southern California guy, and so they don't want men in the game. And don't get me wrong here. There could be women who are like men. For example, let me give you. Nobody even knows this. Damon Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Softball.
Yeah. Damon Oppenheimer's mom, Yankee scouting director. I knew his mom in 1988. She ran the minor leagues for the Padres. She developed men. She did everything. She had the right people, the right coaches in position. So don't dare say, oh, he's being, he's against women. No. I'm for people who want to do their job and do it right, and not to be afraid to do it right. And that's why, in a lot of ways, it's happening across the country in a lot of little things too. But that's why football's still so popular because they let football guys play like men. And they do all the others. And I meant to ask you. I'd like to note to myself on this one. Acuna, he's doing the bomb. He's doing the wave. What the hell's going? We didn't even get to the Mets yet. They're losing 10 of 11.
This was my next question. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, well, let me just mention this. Why? How do they let Acuna make them look like idiots?
I know.
And just go on with the next play.
Yeah. They're cool with it.
Because they're cool with it.
And we were wondering what was going to
counter with something. They're going to come back with, it's kind of like the stare down contest. Ooh, that was a good celebration. Maybe I can do better. I mean, it's not offending them anymore.
I love what Spencer Strider, he's my highlight today. When he told, after they struck out Soto on a great pitch, inside corner, he walks off the mound. He says, that was right down the middle. That was right down the middle. He's playing that pitcher game, getting in your head. So he's old. That's an old school guy. The mustache is old school, and so is the mentality. You know what? I know you're going to ask about the Mets. Here's my comment on the Mets. The Braves is just mentally, physically tougher than the Mets.
But it's the Phillies. It's Tampa Bay. They're on
same thing.
11 out of 12 right now. Losses.
Yeah, those are mentally tough teams. Castellanos playing, making a comment to Rob Thompson. Rob Thompson benches him. Get your ass on the bench. There goes your consecutive game streak. We're playing baseball here. Yep. And the teams that do that. I have a friend who's a coach, and he's really pushing and he's a former manager in the minors. He played for many years, played over in Japan. His team just won the national championship in high school baseball. And I know how good a coach he is. I said, how did you do that? He says, we play baseball. It paralyzes the other teams. And it was a great comment.
It paralyzes the other team. There you go.
It's phenomenal. Play baseball. That's my advice. Play baseball, be a man, and stop worrying about your social media and everything else. And who from the Cubs, here's my question, who from the Cubs should get in Pete Crow Armstrong's face today?
Gosh, I thought it was going to be Dansby Swanson a long time ago, but I don't know. Maybe Ian Happ, but then again, he does some of the same stuff. Like,
yeah, this is why we had
Suzuki,
Yeah, this is why we had some of those guys that were like, big hitters and did what they did. And also in the soft cell column too, just so people know, I talked about how the fighting. Let's stop calling these things brawls. They're not brawls. They're not empty. They empty the benches and they hold each other up. Go back to Nettle.
Honestly, and Ben could back me up. I've been calling it a dance-off for 10 years.
Yeah, it's a dance. I use that term in the column.
Yeah, there's no fighting. Nobody's punching. I told this story. I was on another show, Bill Ryder's show on CBS. I was getting choked by Ed Ott at the bottom of a pile. Literally choked me almost to death.
I believe it. Yeah, he's like a wrestler type guy.
He was an all-American wrestler, and he hated me. But that was good. That was good. Hate is good. We don't have it anymore. KK.
He's good. That's another great thing. Hey, he's good. That's a T-shirt right there.
There you go. Hey, give your granddaughter the best and all of our love, man. Tell her to kick ass and take names.
You know, it's funny you said that because the last time we played this team that's been beating us through the years, and I quietly went up to the team, and I probably got myself in trouble. I said, hey, I won't mention a team, but I said, hey, you know this town, I'm tired of seeing this town. Why don't we go out there and kick their butt and get out of there? Won that game 15-0.
All right.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So are you, KK. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it. Take care.
All right. Kevin Kernan, ball9.com. Yeah, the soft cell's great. He's just, listen, because he's seen other things. He's done the NBA. He's done all the others, and when you've grown up watching like the 80s NBA and the 70s and the 60s NFL, it wasn't a good football team until your hands were bleeding and your face was bleeding, and then it was like, okay, we played a football game today.
I think it's the accountability thing. Ball9.com, accountability 101. Just like when you see these things happen, and I always go back in my visual in my mind, and when everybody brings up Papelbon versus Bryce Harper, I don't think they're understanding what's going on there. That's accountability 101 to your team.
It is, because Harper's and Harper has grown up. When Harper was young,
become the best baseball player because of it.
He's yelling at everybody else when he made a mistake. Right. That's wrong. You can't yell at your teammates when you're the one screwing up.
Right.
You have to be able to look in the mirror and be like, you're the one who's screwing up. You got to be better. That's the way I try to coach. Coach yourself first. I'm not the pitching coach. You're the pitching coach. You're on the mound. You got the ball. Do something about it.
But coaches, teammates, holding their teammates accountable is leaving sports all over the place.
But see, I've told the Ron Oster story, and for those who haven't heard it, like, I was happy about myself when we lost a game in Philadelphia. And he reamed me out, literally aired me out in front of all of my teammates about we all lose together, we all win together.
Right.
So you can never be happy when you lose a game, in a nutshell. And from that point on, it woke me up. Like, oh, you're right. I am being selfish. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll get into the NBA draft here coming up in a little bit. But First Dibs question of the day is next.